The Beatles and the Rolling Stones, two of the most influential British rock bands of the 1960s, were often portrayed as rivals by the media. Despite this, members from both bands frequently interacted and collaborated behind the scenes. George Harrison, guitarist for the Beatles, shared a memorable story about Mick Jagger, the Rolling Stones frontman, who was often present during moments when the Beatles bonded. Harrison specifically recalled a trip to Bangor, Wales in 1967 when the Beatles attended a seminar on transcendental meditation by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. This was a pivotal time for the band as they were exploring spirituality. The trip to Bangor marked a turning point for the Beatles, coming shortly after the death of their manager, Brian Epstein. It also coincided with their growing interest in Indian philosophy and music. Ringo Starr, the band's drummer, recalled an interesting story in the Beatles anthology describing a spontaneous decision to join the Maharishi seminar. He received messages from John Lennon and George Harrison urging him to join them in Wales. Starr explained how, despite personal matters at the time, he immediately joined the group after hearing about their experience. George Harrison fondly reflected on the trip to Bangor, explaining how the Beatles jumped on a train to attend the seminar after Maharishi invited them. He also mentioned Mick Jagger's presence, saying that Jagger seemed to always be nearby, curious about what the Beatles were doing. Harrison's lighthearted remarks about Jagger's consistent presence highlighted how Jagger, like many others, was eager to know what the Beatles were up to. Mick Jagger, in his tribute to Harrison after his death in 2001, spoke warmly about Harrison's spiritual journey. Jagger praised Harrison's dedication to spirituality, noting that it was more than a passing interest for him. Paul McCartney also shared his perspective, emphasizing that Harrison's spiritual exploration was a major part of his life. McCartney acknowledged that while many people were dabbling in spirituality at the time, Harrison took it seriously and faced ridicule for it, especially in England. Yet Harrison remained steadfast in his beliefs. Despite the media's portrayal of rivalry between the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, McCartney dismissed the idea. He explained that the supposed competition was largely a fabrication of the press. McCartney even noted that George Harrison had helped the Rolling Stones secure their recording contract, revealing that he had been instrumental in their early success. This insight shows that the two bands had more mutual respect and support than the public realized. Both bands also collaborated on numerous musical projects, further debunking the rivalry myth. For instance, the Rolling Stones recorded I Wanna Be Your Man, a song originally written by Lennon and McCartney. Additionally, the Beatles provided backing vocals for the Rolling Stones song We Love You. These examples of collaboration demonstrate that despite the competitive narrative, the Beatles and the Rolling Stones had a deep connection and influence on each other.